Hello and welcome to Total War Warhammer. Today I have an online replay of an online battle I played, and this was Chaos Warriors versus the Vampire Counts. And I'm pretty sure I've played the Take 2525 before. I recognize that name. I may even have a video playing him, but yeah, here's the matchup. So I went with a very interesting build. To counter to counter the Vampire Counts as much as I could. So first, my first choice here. The game starts off extremely quickly. So my first choice was Kolek Suneater. Now the reason being is that the Vampire Counts have very little to deal with Kolek, because he's just a big powerhouse. Gazem Nagash, since he has so much health, Gazem Nagash does not too much to him. Other things that the Vampire Counts can get is Skeleton Warriors, which have a bonus versus large, but it's not very substantial. The only really big thing is the Blood Knights, which have a nice bonus versus large. But I mean, Kolek also has a bonus versus large of himself. It's only 18 compared to his 520 weapon damage there. But the next pick was the Forsaken. Now, these Forsaken are extremely good against the Vampire Counts. This for the main reason is that the Vampire Counts can field low armor, 20 armor here, 0 armor there, 30 armor here. And some of it is armor piercing, but the Forsaken are extreme damage dealers, and they're good against units that can't do much damage to them. And the Vampire Counts usually are not high damage dealers. They're more about terror, about outlasting their opponent with a regeneration, and outflanking and just getting all the penalties for morale. So the Forsaken can just deal as much damage as they want without getting dealt damage, because the Forsaken are extremely weak to something like missiles, artillery, which the Vampire Counts have none of. And another thing about the Forsaken is that they have extremely high weapon strength, which is what makes them good. Their weapon strength is 58, which for a price of 750 is amazing. The problem with them is that they don't have they just don't have great defensive stats, and they don't have amazing attack stats. But you can see that these, I've upgraded Forsaken to Silver Chevrons. So because XP is cheaper in this patch 3, I can rank these guys up, and it can be very cost effective, because it increases their melee attack, which basically increases their chance to hit. And of course, I'm not going up against high defense Vampire Counts. These guys are very low defense. Defense of 30, defense of 24, defense of 28. So I don't want to go overboard with my upgrades, but more melee attack gives a higher chance to hit, and because their weapon strength is 58, when they hit, they do a massive amount of damage. That's just what weapon strength and melee attack mean. Now, I also have Chaos Marauders to soak up some of the terror damage and some of the impact the Vampire Counts can have on the charge. And also brought some Chaos Warriors, just because these Forsaken are so flimsy that I don't want my backlines being rear charged by something like Blood Knights. I don't want my Forsaken being charged by any cavalry whatsoever. And that would be extremely bad if all of my troops were Forsaken. So I've brought 2 of these Chaos Warriors just to bolster my troops. Now I've also brought a Chaos Giant. This is mainly for Graveguard that he might field, because if you'll notice, I do not have much anti-armor. And so the reasoning behind my Chaos Giant is they'll deal with Graveguard quite well because it's anti-infantry. And also I was planning, for the case of a Mortis Engine being on the field, the Giant could just deal with the Mortis Engine and be done with that. So my opponent has hidden some Blood Knights in here, but I mean, judging by the size of his army, I can expect something is hidden. I didn't know exactly what, but Blood Knights is a good guess. So the last part of my army was the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. Now this guy I brought 3 spells on him. The Flame Storm, which is a Vortex spell, which are usually unpredictable, but the Vortex spell, the Flame Storm, is one of the least predictable spells. One of the least predictable. Sorry, one of the most predictable Vortex spells. They're breath spells, and Wind of Death actually goes in a straight line, but this Flamestorm usually stays in a small area. So if the Vampire Counts are tempted to blob up, as many Vampire Count players do, just because so they can get their Invocation of the Heck off, I can use the Flamestorm to just deal massive damage to them. I also have the Flaming Sword of Ruin, which is very, very effective against the Vampire Counts, and also is even better on my high weapon strength Forsaken and high weapon strength Kolek Sun Eater, because it gives plus 22% weapon damage to my troops in the area, and 22% on 58 is pretty massive. It's extremely massive, in fact. And not only that, but it also imbues magical damage and fire damage. The Crypt Horrors have a weakness to fire, and the Karen Wraiths have a weakness, well, built into the way they have physical resistance, they have a weakness to physical damage. Sorry, they have a weakness to magical damage. So, when all of my men have insane weapon strength, good chance to hit, and are hopped up with flaming attacks and magic attacks, it's going to be absolute nightmare for the Vampire Counts to deal with. Now, my opponent has brought something that perfectly, that nearly, I was like, when I saw this opponent, I was like, oh boy, this is absolutely perfect. Because he could have brought a bunch of Graveguard, but just in that case, I had brought this Giant, and and Chaos Warriors are not absolutely horrible, and I still would have had insane amounts of weapon strength with that Flaming Sword of Ruin on my Forsaken. Now, it definitely would have been, it would have been, the Giant would have been a very needed tool in that situation. So, and the last thing I forgot to mention is that on Kolek Sun Eater, I have Star Crusher, just to give him insane weapon damage, and as well as the Lord of the Storm, which can cause magical damage, which can be very good against Karen Wraiths. So, yeah, after all of this, our troops are finally getting engaged. So, he's brought Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen in the front lines, and is just going to plan to back them up with lots of Karen Wraiths and Crypt Horrors. So you can see that he's leading with his Karen Wraiths right now. So that's going to allow me to put on the Flaming Sword of Ruin as quickly as possible to get the magical damage against these Karen Wraiths. So here it goes. Oh yeah, okay. So here's my Fire Mage casting a spell. Boom. And that will give all my troops magical damage. So that this 80% physical resistance will be completely negated. And since the physical resistance is factored into their cost, and they have very little health, you can see how quickly they're losing HP right there. As this is on slow-mo, remember, so that's very good. Now, something I misdid is I put the Scroll of Shielding. I meant to do the Scroll of Power, because the Flaming Sword of Ruin has a 44-second cooldown, and if I can pop the Scroll of Power, I can reduce that cooldown to 0, but unfortunately I picked the Scroll of Shielding. So yeah, all of these Karen Wraiths are getting, and look, these Forsaken now have 68 weapon strength. That is absolutely ridiculous. They have magical and flaming attacks. The Crypt Horrors are getting hit with the flaming attacks as well. Oh, these guys unfortunately did not get in the race of the Flaming Sword of Ruin. But then Lord of the Storm goes off, and these Karen Wraiths are just having a very, very bad day right now. So yeah, they're getting hit by all of the weapon strength. Now on this side, I have the Forsaken. They're going up against Skeleton Spearmen and Crypt Horrors with no buffs, but it's a 1 Chaos Martyr and 1 Forsaken. So similar to how the Vampire Count player is using the Crypt Horrors to take the damage, using the Skeleton Spearmen to take the damage for the Crypt Horrors, I'm using my Chaos Monitors to take the damage for the Forsaken, who are just dealing all the damage they need to. So over here where I have not cast the Flaming Sword of Ruin, these Chimeras are doing much better. So I also have Cascading Fire Cloak on here. It's going to give me more melee defense, which is going to help against these very high attack Crypt Horrors and Karen Wraiths. The armor piercing damage not going to do a whole lot, but unfortunately I didn't have that scroll of power, so I couldn't recast the Flaming Sword of Ruin. So I'm also keeping these Chaos Warriors in reserve because I have a feeling something is about to pop out of the woods somewhere, whether it be Hex Wraiths in my rear or just something. I also have the Chaos Giant trying to go after this Mortis Engine right here, who isn't doing a whole lot. It's not even staying close to the battle to heal its troops up. So now I have Colexon Eater, who has insane amounts of things. The Master of Beguilement, minus 46 melee attack. The upgrades on my Forsaken are helping them to maintain some melee attack even through that Master of Beguilement. So, Colexon Eater, insane weapon strength right here, 618. That's absolutely ridiculous. And he is about to take on the Star Crusher ability as well. So I put my Chaos Sorcerer on a Barded Warhorse, or a Barded Nightmare, I believe. So I'm gonna actually keep in combat. He's not terribly good, but he's gonna bolster my lines slightly. So he's using the Dire Pack, which have a bonus versus large, to effectively pin down my Chaos Giant, because he knows that my Chaos Giant desperately wants to get into this Mortis Engine, and this Mortis Engine is much faster than my my Giant. My Giant has a speed of 38, while this Mortis Engine has a speed of 50. So he can just run around the battlefield while my Chaos Giant is being tied down by this Dire Pack, who do have let's see here, 14 bonus versus large, but one club is gonna absolutely wreck the faces of those wolves. So Skeleton Spearmen already starting to rout. I'm committing my Chaos Warriors to this flank because I probably should have put him in this fight, but I'm still keeping one Chaos Warriors in reserve now that I see that this Blood Knight is in fact here. So I'm gonna put it back normal speed soon. Yeah. So the Mortis Engine comes into play here. Star Crusher also comes in. Oh wow! Okay, that Mortis Engine was extremely loud. But all my troops are taking damage from the Mortis Engine. As of currently, you can see all of those effects going off. Reliquary Binding, Blasphemous Tome, regeneration to itself, and then all of my troops are getting poisoned by the Crypt Horrors, Reliquary Corruption by the Mortis Engine, and Aura of Dark Grandeur by Vlad von Carstein. So I'm using Colexon Eater to go head-to-head with Vlad. He's in here looking like a boss, but getting his head bashed in by Koleg right here. And he has brought in his Mortis Engine straight into Koleg, which is exactly what I want. My Chaos Giant can't face off against him, but Koleg will be just happy to see this Mortis Engine off with his Star Crusher ability on. The Star Crusher ability does cost 200 gold to field, but the ability lasts for 35 seconds. Yeah, and the Master of Beguilement, minus 46 melee attack, has just worn off, so he's gonna be a lot more effective. So due to the terror of the Mortis Engine and the Karen Wraiths in the area, it looks like the Karen Wraiths have completely gone. Yeah, these Karen Wraiths are almost dead, and these Karen Wraiths have completely died. But due to the terror of the Mortis Engine, my Chaos Monitors are going to flee. But that terror only lasts in a 6-meter radius, so they're going to immediately come back. But he has thrown his Blood Knights into my Chaos Giant, doing quite a bit of damage. But I brought my Chaos Warriors to support. He was kind of hasty in trying to take down my Chaos Giant, it wasn't the biggest threat on the battlefield. Honestly, the biggest threat was Kolek at this point. So he is quickly going to get these Blood Knights out of here once he realizes that these Chaos Warriors are happy to fight off these Blood Knights and tie them down, because these Blood Knights really need to turn the tide of battle. It does say that the balance of power is in his favor, but his carry rates are completely gone, and his Cryptors are crumbling quite a lot. So he's gonna flee with Vlad. I would do the same if I were him, if I were trying to fight Kolek Sunir. But his Morse engine is extremely good at slipping away, and so is the single model of Vlad von Carstein. So I'm in here with my Chaos Sorcerer, supporting my troops. So Vlad is also casting a spell right now, and that spell should be, we'll see in a moment. So yeah, over here I've just poured a lot of troops. The Chaos Warriors are, this might be a bit excessive. I probably should have put him in this fight right here. But I'm casting a spell as well as Vlad. See which goes on first. So I'm trying to extricate my Chaos Giant from the situation. I use my Scroll of Shielding to limit the damage of these anti-large Blood Knights. So now I'm going to have Flaming Sword of Ruin again to do more damage against the Cryptors and against these Karen Wraiths right here, and the Cryptors in this combat as well. But he does an upgraded cast of Invocation Heck. Does not overcast, so Vlad is going to get the healing effects right there. Sorry, it doesn't miscast. And Jesus, that Morse engine is extremely loud. I probably need to turn down the sound for that. So Kolek Sun Eater coming in here with the 546 weapon strength is just going to beat up Vlad, even though he's healing right now. And just the Flaming Sword of Ruin is just... These Karen Wraiths immediately start dropping, even though they've been healed just recently by the Invocation to Heck. They're going to start going back down. Chaos Warriors fending off the Dire Pack, but now the Blood Knights are in my rear lines. Or my back lines. These Chaos Riders have reformed finally, but it is too late. These Blood Knights are going to smash into a brilliant hammer and anvil on these Forsaken. This was what I was worried about the entire battle. I definitely should not have committed these Chaos Warriors so quickly to this fight, because they have hardly done anything, only 7 kills. I mean, admittedly they're fighting Cryptors, but now I'm fighting now he's rear charging these Forsaken, which are extremely squishy targets. But he does not even want that. He wants the big prize. The Kolek Sun Eater, who has gotten 20 kills and has beat up his Mortis engine and Vlad severely. He's now gonna go make a beeline for him with his Blood Knights, which are pretty much the only unit on the battlefield that can effectively deal with him. So Morse Engine is also coming to take on Kolek Sun Eater, and Vlad retreats once again to cast another spell. And at this point, unfortunately, my Sorcerer routes because he's of Terror of the Morse Engine. But Lord of the Storm going to go off, going to help in the fight against these Karen Wraiths. And Vlad von Carstein, just to ensure that Kolek doesn't come after him and these Blood Knights do effectively tie him down, put some Raises zombies behind him. So it's harder for me to walk through that area. But now that the Skeleton Spearmen on this side are pretty much gone, the Cryptors are going to suffer much more damage to my Forsaken. So, and on this flank, the Cryptors the Karen Wraiths have also gone down due to that original Flaming Sword of Ruin. I forgot about these Chaos Marauders over here, unfortunately. But, yeah, the Skeleton Spearmen are just going to suffer by themselves. And these Cryptors, I'm trying to get my Chaos Giant to the side as quickly as possible, but he keeps getting tied up on these Cryptors, and he's not really that fast at all. Speed of 29, just because of the Morse engine. No. Oh no, why is that? I don't know. It says the speed is lower than it normally is. I don't know why. But, zombies have been raised, and Kolek Center is now pinned down quite effectively. These Blood Knights are all up in here, doing massive damage to my most important unit on the battlefield. And not only that, he's also my legendary lord. So if he goes down, a lot of bad things could happen. Plus 36 melee defense to help him out. Maybe should have saved the scroll of shielding for him in this situation, but due to the 100 speed that Kolek has, and on foe speaker he's gonna have that plus 24% speed. He's gonna try to get away, but these zombies are tying him down quite well. That was a very good use of Raise Dead. Vlad von Carstein isn't here, but he's suffering because he's just by himself. He's a very good. He's not a bad melee person, but his regeneration is 2,249 hit points of regeneration is all gone down the drain. So he's not going to be able to replenish more. He only has 1,300 hit points left. So balance of power is not going well in my favor, just because Kolek Sun Eater is starting to go down, and the rear charges are starting to mount up on my troops. Fortunately, I have won this left flank over here. I brought the Chaos Monitors back into the battle, but the Dire Pack have wow, look at this Blood Knight all the way over here. The Dire Pack have held up my Chaos Warriors, and now because these Blood Knights are fully committed, I'm going to try to bring my regrouped troops back into the fight to pin the Blood Knights, because they are doing as much damage as they can to the Kolek Center. Now, Foe Seekers has helped Kolek get out of this fight through the zombies and all the way around, and I'm going to go straight for Vlad, because I need this guy off the battlefield. He is casting Invocation to Heck all over the place, and raising zombies. I just really need him off the battlefield, and I know that Kolek can do the damage required to take him out, especially when he cannot regenerate anymore. So Mortis Engine still using the Reliquary Corruption and Reliquary Binding. The Blood Knights still have HP left. Oh, they haven't regenerated hardly at all. So they have not been using the Invocation to Heck as much as these other troops have. So my Sorcerer, somewhere over here. Yeah, my Sorcerer's in here. He has come back from combat, and he's gonna help beat up Vlad von Carstein right here. So he's gonna cast another spell right on his troops. I believe it's the Invocation to Heck. And yeah, I'm just, for the first time, I'm gonna put it on normal speed. So yeah, I'm trying to take Vlad von Carstein out, but he, the tank is just chasing after Kolek with the Blood Knights. He hardly took any damage in the beginning of the battle, and now with surrounded by Blood Knights, he is dropping quite quickly. But if I can take out Vlad before Kolek dies, this will be very good for my troops, and it will cause him to crumble quite a bit more. I have finally been able to get this Chaos Giant over into this Mortis Engine, and you can see that just one swipe of the club just takes down a good chunk of his health. But now finally, Vlad von Carstein goes down, and my Sorcerer of Fire can cast Flaming Sword of Ruin just to get rid of these Cairn Wraiths and do extra damage against the Crypt Horrors, and just give my troops more weapon strength. At this point in the battle, I'm trying to keep Kolek alive as long as possible. Use the Foe Seeker to get him out of there, but the Blood Knights have been on his tail for an extremely long time, and I do not think I'll be able to get him out of that situation. But now the Mortis Engine is surrounded on two sides from the Chaos Giant and Kolek Sun Eater, and when they have plus weapon strength, they're going to absolutely devastate this Mortis Engine. You can see how quickly it just got focused down and crumbled away to death. But Crypt Horrors over here finally crumbling away, and this flank is completely dealt with. So yeah, the battle's basically over at this point. Kolek Sun Eater gets one last Star Crusher in, but he's dropping extremely quickly to the Blood Knights. But it doesn't matter. The rest of the battle ties up pretty quickly. Vlad von Carstein is dead, so the rest of his troops are going to crumble. The Morse engine is also dead, so Alexander does get out alive, but he routs. Everything else disintegrates. So, good game to the tank 25-25. I'm pretty sure I've said that name before. I can't remember which battle, but either way, it was a very interesting use of the Forsaken. They haven't been used that often, just because since they got nerfed in patch 2, I believe. But with the Flaming Sword of Ruin, they can do extreme damage against the Vampire Counts. So yeah, I'll see you next time.